as far as the rest of the season is concerned, the opportunity to be able to use more substitutes and to have more players on the bench, that will satisfy, I suppose, players that you can actually utilise a bit more. What have you made of the overall decision? It's the right thing considering the circumstances?
Yeah, very pleased that the EFL have shown, I would say, great leadership, because I think it's one thing is that we, decided, or EFL's decided, that we only could have 3 subs and 7 players on the bench. And then they did that with for a reason, with a lot of background knowledge and so on. But after that, they involved everyone, asked everyone, and they decided to change their decision, which I think is great leadership. So I can only praise them for that. I think I'm really pleased with it, and I really hope that we can benefit of it, and not every club, in terms of taking care of the players' health. And then it's up to the individual club to see how they will use it, to use maybe earlier subs or more subs, or that will depend on the mindset and the strategy from the head coaches or managers.
And a word on Wycombe. Obviously, they were the first opponents. They were the first opponents in a competitive game at the new stadium. Do you think, though, that now they're a different opponent from that early meeting, because they've become, it's a different competition, obviously, but they've become a little bit more settled in what the Championship requires?
Yeah, I think it's all about, a lot of things in life is all about experience. A lot of people will tell you about, this is how it is to cook food or run or play in the Championship or Premier League, and you try to prepare, but you can't really prepare before you are really in it and really experience it and learn from it. And I think they have a very steep learning curve, and I think they learned a lot, and you can see that with their performances. And I think especially against Watford, the relegated Premier League side, where I think they should have won. I think they deserved to win that game. 2 fair wins against Birmingham and Sheffield Wednesday just show that they are giving everything, and we are expecting another unbelievable tough task where they will be very competitive with their strength, which will be playing relatively direct, compete around the second balls, make sure they will put crosses in the box or balls on the box, and then every set piece situation they can take, they will take that, and we need to handle that very well. And on the flip side, on the ball, we need to find good solutions and try to find a way to open them, which of course we've been focusing on, and hopefully we can succeed with that.
You talked about Pontus coming back, and I suppose this is the reverse of a question I asked you a few weeks ago about the loss of the likes of Pontus and Christian, not just as players, but also from a leadership point of view. So when those sort of players return, it's not just what they can do on the pitch as players, it's what they do as leaders in difficult circumstances, tough times during games. That makes a difference as well to your team.
Yeah, massively. I think, first and foremost, I think Pontus and Christian have done everything they can. They've travelled with the squad, and they've been cheering on from the stands, and they've been in the dressing rooms, and they been top in terms of that. But it's the true leaders you see in the tough moments. It's easy being 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go. That it's easy to praise and say well done, and all that. But when you keep a cool head and a warm heart, and you take good decisions in the crucial moments of a game, and encourage, and tell directions, and that's where Pontus is going to be crucial for us, and we are looking forward to welcome him back into the team.
And stats, obviously, you can read into them what you want, kind of. You can say, oh, well, it's only 1 win in 4, but then again, it's only 1 defeat in 7. I was talking to another manager yesterday, talking about draws, and a lot of draws, and the fine margins, and he said maybe a bit more courage, maybe risking losing a game but going for a win. From your analysis of what's happened in the first part of the season, what tiny little differences would make a difference that you could have? You said that you should have had more points maybe from the performances. what little differences would have maybe yielded a couple of extra points, do you think?
I think first, as you said, I think trying to be brave enough to be offensive enough is something I think in general we try to do. Also against Middlesbrough, for example, we early changed to play a 4-4-2 with two strikers with the question from Hector with Marcus. For example, so we always try to go for the 3 points, even in a game where we maybe not on top. I think for us, in some of the game, it's just down to pure margins. That the deflected shot from Norwich is an example of what can you do different in terms of that. But I would say that 3 things we could do, a bit better. I think if you look at the expected goals against and chances, we are still very low compared to very low like last year. But the actual goals and maybe some of the bigger chances we need to cut that down is a little bit in terms of stop more crosses and defend better in the box. I think that's a big thing. I think we scored. We are scoring up there among the top teams in the division. I still want us to control the game more in the final third and also get more good crosses from good areas into the box and also get more set pieces from these situations.
And then finally, for me, I'm not sure if we dealt with this last time you faced Gareth Ainsworth, but of course he's known as Wild Thing. He plays the guitar. You've got sort of rock star looks yourself, actually, Thomas, haven't you? Have you got a musical instrument of choice that you used to pick up?
I really like Gareth, and I think it's impressed what he and his coaching staff have done with Wycombe. And I would love it. I could sing. I would love that. I'll play the guitar. I would really love that because if we could, then we'll make a duet. Gareth and I, and that would be bang on. I promise you. I'm good at partying, so I think I'll be pretty good at it. I just can't sing, unfortunately.
Well, Thomas, you won't be surprised to hear the fans are absolutely delighted to hear the news that Pontus will be back tomorrow. There's a cheer going up virtually on this rainy Friday evening about that. You said before the international break that the break had come at the right time. There was that late equaliser against Swansea and a disappointing performance against Middlesbrough. With full respect to Wycombe, though, there is a chance for you. I wouldn't want to call it a reset as such, but a chance for you to certainly after the break to come out and make a statement tomorrow.
For me, Wycombe is just the first of many games, and it's the first of many games we'd like to win. And of course, I also know that if you want to build momentum, you need to start by winning. I'm also very respectful about Wycombe because everyone will expect us to win that game. I know that, and I also expect us to perform well. And if we do that, we will have a very, very good chance and should win that game. But I also just know that this league is relentless. And the way Wycombe do things make it very difficult. So if we are not 100% on it, and it's all about our concentration and discipline in the thing we want to do, if we're not that, then we will be in trouble. So the players know that, and we are going into this game with the biggest respect and the biggest focus, because we need to have that. And then, of course, as you said, Stuart, we'll do everything we can to start that momentum.
You mentioned the relentless nature of the season, and I did want to ask you about the tempo of the season. As we know, midweek games are going to be the norm, 2 games a week and so on. Now you've had a short chance to sort of catch your breath a little bit, although I'm sure you've been extremely busy, even though there haven't been any match days. Does it feel like you're about to start climbing Everest again when you, having had that tiny bit of respite, look ahead to the next run of games in the run up to Christmas?
I think for me, it's always nice to have these international breaks. You can do a little bit of refresh. You have time to have more meetings about planning and look ahead. And we try to do that in the best possible way. Me and my coaching staff going forward. And I also know, so some players have been away, the internationals, but they've been away and they, just got extra energy coming home from a new environment, being proud, representing their countries. And some of the players who played a lot, they are refreshed. We have added more fitness to some of the players that need more. So I think all teams are just, ready, starting this marathon again, next stage, next spell. And I'm very big on next game, next training, but we know it's the next 13 games is, every Saturday, midweek. So it's a longer one. And how do you eat an elephant? One small bite at a time. So that's what we try to do.
And the final one from me, just a team news question, given that we haven't spoken for a couple of weeks because of the international break, whether there's been any change to the prognosis for Christian in the last couple of weeks. Is the timeline and the schedule prognosis still the same as it was before the international break?
No, just touched briefly on it. He is still a tiny bit away, and we hope he soon will join the team. But it will probably be some weeks, but it's still, on schedule.